Hello guys, welcome to the next session of new evolving world of Dynamics CRM. So far we have captured fundamentals of SLAs and also how entitlements can be used with SLA for the assignment purpose, SLA assignment purpose. So those two topics actually covers most of the fundamentals of SLAs. Now in coming two sessions, in fact I'm planning 2 more sessions on SLA, and in these 2 sessions I'm going to talk about some of the implementation challenges you might see when working with SLAs in Dynamics CRM. So today is the part 1 of this session, and then we'll have part 2 very, very soon in coming days. So before we go and further talk about that, I have some prerequisite from my audience. The first thing is definitely you should have a fundamental understanding of Dynamics CRM, especially how to navigate, how to use, how to do basic configuration around it. Second is I assume that you understand the fundamentals of SLA. If not, please go read from somewhere or watch my previous video about that. Third, you should have a understanding of how entitlement work with SLA, especially when SLAs are assigned, how entitlement help in that. That concept should be clear to you. Again, if not, go read from somewhere. There are plenty of information available, or you can watch my video as well. As long as you have these 3 basics in place, let's start with the topic. So the implementation challenges which I want to talk about, I have primarily categorized into 5 sections, more or less. If I find some more, I will add some more later, but so far I have seen 5 different types of challenges, some complex, some very simple to do, and so on. The first one is that many times you have a SLA, but the working hours for the SLA changes, right, depending on what type of problem you're dealing with. So we'll see how working hours for the SLA can be switched depending on certain condition or business scenario. The second topic I would like to cover is there are certain risks when SLA can get cancelled actually, yeah. So what are the scenarios where you have chance of getting your SLA cancelled, and how to deal with those scenarios. There are certain challenges you will see when you try to report for the SLA, okay, and then you have to have some basic constructs in place to ensure that you have all required data to do SLA level reporting. Not everything comes from the framework here, yeah. Then how to run the parallel and sequential SLA. What are the limitations? Can everything be done in SLA inside SLA, or do we need to develop something outside as well? Yeah, we'll go and talk about that. And then some thoughts about how to stop or pause SLA, those kind of concepts. Okay, well, it's a huge topic. You can see each of them can be debated for long time. So to make my video efficient, what I have done is that I have split my topics into 2 parts. Today in the part 1, I'm going to cover first 2 topics, which is switching between working hours, and second is risk of SLA getting cancelled. But in the next topic, in the next session, I will cover all remaining 4 topics to complete this chapter. Okay, so let's move ahead. So let's take the first topic, switching between working hours. Let's take business scenario first. So there is a citizen who calls up customer care. Actually, it's an implementation from a public sector. That's why I have taken example of a citizen which calls up government customer care to create a ticket. And if the ticket is about any emergency problem, right? Few things are very urgent to be solved. They are life-risking problem, they are life-threatening problem, they can create chaos. So if some problem is an emergency problem, then ticket should be resolved assuming 24/7 working hours. So whatever SLA you commit, that SLA should be calculated assuming that people are working for 24/7 hours, 365 days. But if it is a non-emergency problem, then probably the same kind of SLA you can follow a different timeline. But in non-emergency problem, you assume that people who are fixing the problem, they are working for 5 days a week and 8 hours per day. So you can see, depending on the type of ticket, your working hours could be from 24/7 to 5 days a week, 8 hours per day kind of thing. How do we achieve that? I mean, because you can see then when you define the SLA, you can define only one business. You can define only one business hours. So how do we switch between multiple business hours? We'll go and talk about that first. Well, it's not very complex thing, and probably most of you would have guessed that I'm going to use entitlement here to make this job work. And actually, this is a live example from one of the implementation we did in the public sector. Okay, most of my examples are from public sector because they are really very complex sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so let's move ahead. How do we solve it? So how do we solve it is we have to glue business hours, SLA, and entitlement, all these three concepts together. When put them together, make them work for each other, this problem is solved. Let's see how. So first thing you do is that you go and define customer service schedule. So depending on what different types of working hours you support, you go and create those working hours inside customer service schedule. Where can you define customer service schedule? You go to the setting, then you go to service management, and then there you can go and see a subsection called customer service schedule. And again, you can find all this thing into Dynamics CRM 2013 Service Pack 1. Okay, that's the version I'm talking about. So you can see I have defined two different type of working schedule here. One is 24/7 on the top, and the bottom you can see it's a 5 days working, 8 hours a day, and I have defined like Monday to Friday, 9 hours per day, assuming one hour we go for lunch and so on. I have not put any holiday schedule here, but yeah, you can definitely go and add holiday schedule and observe that holiday schedule inside this working hours. I have just put that optional for now. Okay, I will not show demo. I will probably go through these screens only today because I mean, for each of these things, the CRM customization changes so much that it was not possible for me to show demo under one organization. But anyway, let's go and talk about the next thing. So you have defined the working hours at the first step. Then what you do, you go and define two different types of SLAs. Now what I did actually, I defined two same type of SLA. That means they all start on the same applicable from, they all start on the created on, they have the same working hours, so I mean same kind of failure and warning time, they have same applicable from condition, they have same applicable when condition and success criteria and everything is the same. Only difference is that one SLA, which is full-time SLA, follows the business hours equal to full-time working hours, and normal SLA follows the normal working hours. So two equivalent SLA, only difference is that one is following a full-time working hour, one is the normal working hours. So far so good. That's step number 2. So customer service schedule defined, then SLA is defined. What do we do next? Then we go and put the entitlement. So for the same customer, the customer here is called Fourth Coffee. You get this customer if you create an out-of-box CRM online instance. For the same customer, I created two similar entitlement. Again, similar entitlement, but my SLAs are different. Okay. So in one entitlement, which is a full-time entitlement, I say my SLA is full-time SLA. In my normal entitlement, I say my SLA is normal SLA. Okay. So now you all know that SLA can be assigned based on entitlement. So I have defined working hours, I have defined SLAs, I have defined entitlement for the SLAs. All I need to do on the case form is that if I want certain request to be served using full-time working hour, I select full-time SLA, and for that I have to select full-time entitlement. And if I want that request to be served, which is non-emergency for normal working hours, I will simply go select the normal entitlement, and that's what I did here. So I created two cases. In one case I selected full-time entitlement, second is normal time entitlement, and again that's the emergency and non-emergency case. Now it is important here to understand that right now, like in my demo over here, or whatever screen I saw over here, I used manual selection of entitlement, but you can very much automate it, script it. So you can write some kind of JavaScript which takes a subject as, say, if subject is emergency, then go and select the full-time entitlement for this for the customer. Otherwise, go and select the normal entitlement for the customer. So those basic things you can do, those automations you can do. More and more such examples I see. Actually, I'm with great opinion that we need to have some kind of just like routing rules. You can have some kind of assignment, entitlement assignment, or SLA assignment rules defined somewhere which says, okay, fine, depending on certain condition, assign this particular entitlement to the case or this particular SLA to the case. Something like that we need to do till the time that feature comes, or I don't know, it comes, or it will come, or it will not come. But till the time it comes, hopefully we will keep doing either manual assignment, or we'll use some certain scripts to do the assignment. So this is an example that how different business hours or working hours can be defined, linked to SLAs, linked to entitlement, and then help users select the right type of working hours for the SLA depending on the type of case. Again, this example you see here is a real-time example. I mean, of course, the names have been faked out here, but actually a public sector customer demanded for this kind of implementation, and we did this kind of implementation for them. Okay, so this is one example. Scenario number the first challenge, implementation challenge, is covered into it. Let's go and talk about the next challenge, which is risk of SLA getting cancelled. Again, this challenge also we saw in this customer only, actually, and I mean with this customer only, and let's see we talk about. So to give an idea about it, I mean, you know that you have a field called applicable when in SLA item, which says that this SLA is applicable if certain conditions are met. And I have told you in earlier sessions that if applicable when condition changes, any SLA which has been started and which uses applicable when kind of condition, field conditions, if that condition changes, that value changes for the case entity, the SLA will get cancelled. And I will show you an example where actually we run into this kind of problem where we run into this kind of cancellation problem. Okay, so let's go and see the example first, the business scenario first. So what we did, we saw a scenario where we say we have to go a life cycle from ticket create to ticket resolve. Now this life cycle of the ticket actually goes through various stages. Okay, so first stage is, okay, the ticket, after ticket is created, it is assigned to the back office. At that point of time, because they want SLA to start. Then I mean that's a condition when they want SLA to start. Then some kind of field engineer is assigned for the inspection, and then he does the inspection. Once it is done, then some contractor is assigned, depending on what type of problem is found in the inspection. Some contractor is assigned to go and fix the problem, and once the problem is fixed, the ticket is resolved. Well, the actual implementation was little more complex than this, but I've tried to simplify it. But it is near real type of problem from the customer. Now there are two type of SLAs we need over here. So entry point is always when the back office assignment is done, and first SLA we want to track is when the contractor assignment happens, and it should happen within 4 hours. Okay, that's the first SLA we want to track. Second SLA is that ticket should be resolved within 8 hours, and again for this SLA the entry point is back office assignment only. The moment the ticket is created and it's assigned to L2 or back office kind of thing, it happens. Now this was the scenario, and we started configuring it actually, and I'll show you what challenges we saw in that. Okay, so to configure this, what we did is that first we defined a kind of SLA bucket for, say, ticket handling. We said okay, it will start from the created on, and then we defined 2 SLA items under this. One was SLA 1 contractor assignment, second was SLA 2 ticket resolution, and we said that the contractor assignment will be tracked, and these 2 fields will be tracked by two case related fields. So for ticket resolution we already have resolved by field out of box present, but for contractor assignment we added a field called contractor assignment by a date field. So we configured these 2 SLA items, and here's the configuration details. So first SLA, which is SLA contractor assignment, when we did this, you can see it's applicable when the back office assignment happens. The case stage reaches the back office assignment, and then it is successful when the contractor has been assigned. So very simple, right? From back office assignment to the contractor assignment, we track it. Similarly, if you see the second scenario where we say it's the same thing, it starts same time that when my ticket created and assigned to the back office, but the success criteria is different. In this case I want to track when the case is resolved, so when the case stage is ticket resolution. Okay, so everything looks good, normal, fantastic, but here is the problem which actually made us re-look into SLA from the design point of view. So in the case form we had this something called ticket stage option button, which we have which I have used inside this applicable when and success criteria. Now obviously this ticket stage is the stages through which the ticket life cycles changes. So start with back office assignment, and the moment it becomes back office assignment, both my SLA 1 SLA 2 start ticking. Yes, we have got trigger. Now let's track this number. But the moment I change it to, say, field engineer inspection, which is the very next stage in my life cycle, both SLA get cancelled. Simple, right? Because my applicable when condition has changed. It is no more back office assignment. The moment it becomes field engineer inspection or contractor assignment, something like that, since my entry criteria is not valid anymore, both of these SLA got cancelled. Now this was the problem which hit us in our design phase. So the basic fundamental is that each of these SLA, as we have discussed earlier, is creates a workflow behind the scene, a wait workflow behind the scene, and those wait workflows get cancelled. The timer get reset whenever your application when condition changes, which is the entry criteria for these SLAs. So that's the second challenge. And so the solution is simple, actually, to be honest, guys, but it's not very clean. It's a foolproof, but it's not very clean because you're required to add additional things just for the purpose of SLA on the form and on the, at least in the entity, not in the form, but in the entity. For the purpose of this SLA, you need to go and add additional fields. That's why I won't claim that solution is very clean, but yeah, it's foolproof, it works. So what we do actually I use the word, we create ghost fields for applicable when. So what we do in that case, we create some kind of dummy fields, and these dummy fields you can hide. You don't need to show on the form because the whole purpose of this field is to start the SLA and then never change, so that SLA don't get cancelled, right? Then use some kind of script to go and populate the desired value at the desired event. So for instance, if you want that when my back office assignment happens, I want this value to become yes, for instance, some field value to become yes or no kind of thing. So you can, at some desired event, you can populate some desired value into this field, and then of course use this field into your application. Typo mistake applicable when. So when you do that, actually SLA will start based on that condition. And since this value is in your coding control, so you can write a code that okay, you set it once and then don't change it. So that even if other things are changing, for instance, in my case, ticket stage is changing, my this hidden or ghost value is not changing, so my SLA is not getting cancelled. Okay, it's a pretty simple example, but you have to tweak the system to make it work. So what we did in our case, for instance, we added a field, two options field called back office assignment SLA field. We made this a hidden field inside. Actually, we didn't put in the form at all. It was at entity level only. And then we wrote a script that whenever the case stage is updated to back office assignment, set it to yes, and that's it. And don't change it after that. Yeah, as simple as that. And by default, it is no. Then we put our applicable when condition. You can see over here. If you see over here on the in these two updated SLA items, I have updated over here. I have changed my success criteria. My applicable when criteria from using the that case stage to this particular ghost field. So yes, my ticket stage is still changed from the back office assignment to the engineer assignment to the inspection to the contractor work to the closer, but it does not affect my SLA because my SLA has been fixed on a ghost field, which is set only once to start the SLA, and then that field is not touched at all. So this is how we did the implementation, how we overcome this challenge. Sorry for this typo mistake over here, but it's foolproof. It really works. But only thing is that if you have so many SLAs on the case form, on the case entity, then you have to create probably those many ghost fields on the entity to make this this kind of condition work. Okay, so that's the only limitation I see, or that's the only drawback I see. Otherwise, this definitely works and quite a good solution. Okay, that's it for now. Tomorrow I'm going to actually tomorrow or day after, depending on when I get time, I plan to go and cover remaining 4 topics which I have shared earlier in my list. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please keep providing me feedback for the improvement. Please do subscribe to my channel, and as I always promise, I will keep coming with some nice and great videos in coming days. Thank you very much. Bye bye.